Hello, everybody. This is Book Talk episode 11. This is where I talk about the books I recently read. And the book that I've read this time is a book about Rosa Parks. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter the Book Lover. And I like to read books and I like to talk about books. And I like to watch movies and talk about movies. So I made a YouTube channel to where I talk about the books and the movies that I watch and the books that I read. And I enjoy talking about these books, so I have a good time doing this. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about a book about Rosa Parks. But before I get into the book, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want everybody that's watching to know that I really appreciate that you came to my channel and are here. So I really appreciate you and thank you for stopping by. Okay, what this book is about is Rosa Parks. This is Rosa Parks, Freedom Fighter. This is by Keith Brandon and Joanne Maddern. And this is a pretty interesting book. This was a short book. This was like about 56 pages with illustrations, and the illustrations was really great. I liked the artwork in this book. Now, this book is about the time when she got on a bus and she did not want to give her seat up to a white person and she wound up getting arrested. And that's how this book starts. But I decided to cover this book in her life. So I made bullet points of what happened in her life. So we'll start off with her being born. Rosa Parks was born on February 4th, 1913 in Tuskegee, Alabama, to James and Leona Macaulay with her younger brother Sylvester. And not long after she was born, her parents separated, and her mother, Leona, moved in with her grandparents in 1915 in Pine Level, Alabama. And it covers a little bit of the relationship she has with her grandparents. Her grandfather was a very interesting character. And she pretty soon went as far as she could go in school, but she wanted more education. So in 1924, Rosa enrolled in Mrs. White's School in Montgomery, Alabama. This was a school ran by a white person that actually helped black children further themselves in their education. So she enrolled here and she went further in her education. When she was 16 years old, she got a job at a shirt factory. That's where she learned how to sew. She was also doing other jobs, odd jobs on a plantation. She was picking cotton and doing other jobs, not as a slave, but as a low-wage employee. So she was doing this for quite a while until 1932, when she met and married Raymond Parks. Now, Raymond Parks encouraged her to finish school, which she did, and she graduated in 1933 at Alabama Teachers College. He was a member of the NAACP, and that is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And Rosa pretty soon joined and fought for civil rights. And the way that she fought for civil rights by joining this club is she kept track of the arrests of black people, unjust arrests, events to where black people were lynched. She kept track of that by the KKK and other racist groups. And a couple other things. I believe she helped bail people out and stuff like that. Various things. So she was doing this for quite a while. But our story really is about what happens on December 1st, 1955. On November 1st, 1955, she was on the Cleveland Avenue bus in Montgomery, Alabama, and she refused to give up her seat to a white man because she was very tired. And by her refusing to give up her seat, she wound up getting arrested. Now, when she was arrested, this led to a boycott of the buses in Montgomery, Alabama. And that lasted over a year. While she was locked up in jail, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. gave a speech that inspired most of the people to join the bus boycott. Now, in the book, they talk about the speech and actually give you a good part of about the speech. And it was an excellent speech. I really loved the speech and reading it. It's really cool. So he gives this speech, and the boycott does last for a long time. It gains a lot of support. Then, on November 13th, 1956, the Supreme Court declared the segregation laws were unconstitutional. And on December 20th, 1956, the written order was received. And that's what really got the ball rolling on a lot of segregation, stopping a lot of segregation. You know, there was a time to where we had separate bathrooms, we had separate water fountains. You had to go at different nights to the theater. You had to sit in special places in the restaurant, and they weren't treated equally. And once these things happened, that was the beginning of the events to where we started becoming equal, white people and black people. And one of the biggest things that happened was the March on Washington by Dr. Martin Luther King. I believe in 1963, he did that march. They don't cover the march in here, but I'm familiar with Dr. Martin Luther King March on Washington, and that really led us to being equal. I mean, the thing about it is there's still racism, but that's illegal. Legal racism was pretty much put to the end in about 1963. Okay, then in 1957, Rosa wound up moving to Detroit, where she lived for the rest of her life. And then, not long after being there, she became an assistant to John Connors of Michigan. He was, I believe, a congressman, and she was with him for until 1965. Then, in 1987, she co-founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development in honor of Raymond Parks, and he died in 1977. And she lived quite a while after in Detroit, but she died October 24th in 2005. And that's pretty much her life. And she had an incredible life. The biggest event in her life was the things that happened in this book. This refusal to get up a seat, because it really, really made a big effect on a lot of people. And it was really fantastic that she did this and the way that she did it. It was really incredible. And I'm glad that she actually did what she did. She did the right thing. And it's wonderful that things are different now. Now, a lot of people may think that we're still kind of segregated, and I don't think that's true. Lawfully, we're not being segregated at all. Black people and white people have the same rights legally as, we have the exact same rights. There's no rights that I have that a black person doesn't have. But the thing about it is there is still racism, but that cannot be helped. That can't be helped with the law. When people are racist, they're not doing it lawfully. They're doing it illegally. But some people still do that, and you can't stop that. But one thing that this book really shows is that there were a lot of white people that were helping her. Like when she got arrested, there were white people that were with her that started the ball rolling on the boycott. And throughout history, when racism was probably at its height, there was always white people that were against racism, that didn't like it. And then there were white people that were for it. But you got to think, when you think about this, if you're a black person watching this, that there were a lot of white people that have always been by your side. Don't think that every white person is a racist. Although there are some that really are, but we really can't do much about that. All we could do is try to guide them in the right direction. It's an awful thing that some people are racist against other people. I think it's wrong, and I'm glad that we are not as racist as we were. So that's about it. I can't really say much more about this book, but I really enjoyed reading this. This was a great read. I I I find this book pretty fascinating, and you can learn a lot from a book that's only 55 pages. This took me one day to read, and I learned a lot from it, and I'm glad that I read this book. It's a fantastic book, and I highly recommend it if you get your hands on it. Okay, that's it for the video. If you like the video, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Every time that I see a like, it means a lot to me. It lets me know that you enjoyed the content. And if you can, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Please communicate with me. I'd love to hear from everybody. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'm constantly working on making my content better. And you'd really make me happy if you gave me another subscription. It means a lot to me. Although if you already subscribed, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate every person that's subscribed to my channel and watches my videos. It means a lot to me. And that's about it. I'm Peter the Book Lover, and I want to thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in the next video.